Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. So today we are going to cover rest of the past for the professional ethics. Okay, so before we start the today's session and before we indulge into the professional ethics remaining part, I would like to again ask everyone that if you have any doubts, please ask. Okay, so doubts are important because they will help you to understand the topic in much more detail. Okay, so whatever doubts you have, please ask. You can post on the BOS portal. I can get it. You can unmute yourself. You can ask, or at the later point in time, also at the later time of the stage of the session, you can ask. Okay, if you feel your doubt is kind of not relevant to the topic as of now or something offbeat, you can even ask that before the break, or you can ask anytime. There is no limitation on that. Okay, so I would suggest everyone to ask the doubt if you have any. Okay. So let's start this session by solving some of the questions from the past exams, some prepared ones, so that you guys can have an understanding that how questions come in the exam and how to answer those questions. Okay. So let's start with the first question of today. Okay. So the first question is, SR and Associates are the statutory auditors of ABC Limited. Audit of the company is pending for FY 21-22, 22-23 due to the dispute between auditor and the company with respect to certain proposed remarks. Okay, the company removed the auditor on 2/5/2023 in shareholders meeting, complying with all the legal formalities. SR and Associates, after coming to know about the removal, intimated the registrar of companies through a letter highlighting the points of dispute. Points of dispute including non-existence of fixed asset, bogus creditors, etc. ABC Limited complained to ICAI against SR and Associate for their above letter to ROC. Comment with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act and schedule thereto. So there is one company, ABC Limited. There is a SR and Associate. There was a dispute. They could not conclude on the audit report. Company removed the auditor. Auditor filed a letter to ROC with the details. Now you have to comment on the particular question. So take a minute or two, just read through the question again and try to answer it.
Shall I?
Yes.
Clause 1, clause 1, part 1, second schedule disclosure. Confidentiality breach हुई है. The auditor should not disclose the information unless without the permission of client to any other person.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone?
When the auditor is removed in that to an AGM, isn't the auditor being given a chance to present his case? As in,
Your voice is not audible.
so what I meant was, when the auditor is being removed to an AGM, the auditor should be given a chance to represent his case.
Let's assume they are saying that shareholder meeting complying with all the legal formalities. So they have complied with the legal formalities. Chance was given and everything was done. As of now, let's assume that one.
It says SR and Associates after coming to know about the removal. So there is a question as to if they have known it. If they had known it, they would have presented their case or they would have communicated their point of view to the shareholders, no? So you're on mute.
Sorry, I was saying your voice is not that much audible.
The question reads as SR and associates after coming to know about the removal. So they weren't aware of it. The way I understand it, it means that SR and associates weren't aware of it when it was done.
But on the same side, I have a question that all the legal formalities were complied with. So I would suggest let's go with that the legal formalities have been complied with.
Okay, sir.
If you see in the question, it is there, like, the legal formalities have been complied here. So if this particular thing is given, rather than, I would go with that only. That okay, they were given the chance and everything is there.
So, but that thing will the next auditor will see whether the removal is proper or not. He will not be concerned about the process.
See, again, I am saying that, whatever requirements are there of the Companies Act for the removal of auditor, that has been complied as of now. So
No, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. The next auditor will see it. The auditor which is removed has no relation to that. The next auditor who is gonna join, he will see these things, whether removal was proper or not.
So I still am not able to understand your question over here. So you are just saying a point, or you have a question on that?
No, that was not a question.
No. Okay. Then it's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Sir,
Hmm.
I'm Pooja here. After reading this question, if I say that auditor is under dispute, there is a dispute between auditor and the company. In this case, he should ask with general management or those charged with governance. He should discuss about this dispute, and if then also it's not get resolved, then he should assess whether he is under any legal responsibility to report to higher authorities also, or legal other authorities, and then he can take decision upon whether to report on that matter and how to report, which kind of opinion he should give.
Okay.
And he also can decide whether he should disassociate himself from the assignment or not.
Always, good answer. But again, one thing you just need to focus upon what is asked in the question. So if you see the last line, comment with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act and schedule thereto. Okay. Now, I need to answer my question, okay, by commenting with reference to the CA Act and the schedules thereto. I need to, point a reference to the schedule, what is there and what is not there, and accordingly, I need to, answer that particular question. Are you getting my point? Anyone else with the answer? Anyone else? See, understand the question from the point of view that what is happening and what is asked. Like, there are two things. One, some case scenario is going on the one hand. Second is what is asked with respect to the case scenario. We are asked to comment with reference to the CA Act. Now, there could be, multiple things involved. Multiple things could be there, like, okay, resignations, what auditor should have done, what auditor should have not done. But specifically from the point of view of Chartered Accountants Act and schedules there too, we have to answer this question. So we have to think which particular criteria, laws, provision of the section, regulation will be applicable in this case.
Maybe they are asking from the point of view of confidentiality, breach of confidentiality.
Okay. Anyone else with the answer? Anyone else has different answer, or something would like to add? Anyone? No? Okay. So I'll tell you the answer. Now, what is the scenario over here? Understand first. Here, the auditor disclosed something to the registrar of companies, highlighting certain points of dispute, including non-existence of fixed asset, bogus creditors, and etc. First of all, here two things are required to be focused upon. Number one, through letter highlighting the points of disputes, okay, to registrar of the company, and then after coming to know about the renewal. So once auditor came to know that he has been removed, he intimated to the registrar of companies. Now here in the question we cannot see that registrar of the companies has asked that detail. No, it is not there. In that case, we could say that okay, he disclosed that voluntarily to the registrar of companies. Now in that case, if there is a voluntary disclosure by the auditor to the registrar of companies without the permission of the company, in that case, auditor will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So here, in this case, auditor has disclosed something without the permission of the company, without the consent of the client, which is not allowed, and he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So answer to this is, clause 1, part 1 of second schedule, confidentiality, that will apply. Yes, Jenny.
Sir, actually, I have sent my answer on the boss portal chat box, whether you get it or not.
Yes, I received that answer.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I'm getting those answers over the viewers portal.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So simple. Clause 1, part 1, second schedule will get attracted. Clear? Any doubt with respect to this one? Okay. If no doubts, then let's go to the next question. Mr. P, a chartered accountant, did not maintain books of accounts of his professional work on the ground that his income is assessed under Section 44 ADA of Income Tax Act. Comment with reference to the Chartered Accountants Act 1949 and schedules thereto. So what do you think here the answer will be?
Sir, बोलूं General Council guideline. Chartered accountant has mandatory obligation to create books of accounts. If it's not following that, he is in violation of the guideline. So clause 1, part 2 of second schedule, he will be guilty for contravention of the provisions of act or guideline issued by the council.
Okay. Anyone else? Good. Anyone else? No? Absolutely correctly say that under the Council General guidelines, CA is CA in practice are required to maintain certain books of account. Okay, when they do not maintain certain books of account, they are violating the guidelines, Council General guidelines. In that case, as per the clause 1, part 2 of second schedule, whenever you contravene any provision of act, regulation, or Council General guidelines, you will be held guilty of professional misconduct. That is applicable in this case also. So you have not, so here the CA has not maintained the books of account that were required by the Council General guidelines. As a result, clause 1, part 2, second schedule will get attracted.
Sir, can we say here clause second schedule part 1, clause 7, due diligence in the conduct of his professional duties?
Sorry?
Can we say here misconduct of second schedule part 1, clause 7, due diligence in the conduct of his professional duties?
No, that is a, when you talk about clause 7, being grossly negligent, okay, that is with respect to the professional duties, like when you are, performing any of the professional engagement. So this is not related to the professional engagement, but something different than the professional engagement. That's why I cannot, invoke clause 7.
Okay.
Basically, if you read the terms, if you read the particular clause 7, it talks about being grossly negligent, okay, or exercising the duties or professional duties. And that means that if I'm, discharging my professional duties for any professional engagement, for any assignment, and at that point in time, if I'm being grossly negligent, then that clause will get addressed. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt till now? No? Okay. If no doubt, let's see the third question. CAK qualified as a chartered accountant and started practice as a proprietor in the name of Messrs. K and Associates in the year 2015-16. LST Limited, a listed entity, appointed Messrs. K and Associate as a statutory auditor for the year ended 31st March 2022. CAK signed the balance sheet of LST Limited for the year ended 31st March 2022 on 14th May 2022. Messrs. K and Associate never subjected themselves to a peer review process of the institute since its inception. Since its inception of the practice. Comment with reference to the CA Act 1949 and schedules thereto. So just have a read once, take a 2 minutes time, go through the question again, and tell me what is the problem.
That mandatory peer review is mandatory for entity for firms which are auditing listed client. So that might be some of the regulation or guidelines. So there is again the same clause will attract that contravention of act or regulation or guideline.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone? So what could be, just focus on what is wrong here and, accordingly try to give the answer. Come on, guys. At least try. Don't worry whether it's a wrong answer, it's a correct answer. Don't even think of that. Just try to answer. Even if it is a wrong answer, you will remember, okay, that was, one of, I gave the answer, it was wrong. But by that way, you will also remember the correct answer. Anyone? No? Absolutely correct. So here also, if I can say that, peer review process or peer review guidelines has not been complied with. Okay. As a peer review mandate, now it's a peer review mandate. It has not been complied with. As a result, I would say clause 1, part 2, second schedule will get affected. Because for the listed entities, the firm should be subject to peer review. They should be, complied with the peer review, and then only they can go for the audit of a listed entity. Clear? Any doubt with respect to this? Yes, Jenny?
Sir, actually, it was my request that in the morning the Zoom chat box was enabled. Then this time also, यानी हमारे लिए आसान हो जाता है आंसर यहाँ पे सेंड करना.
I will check with the team if that can be done. I will definitely check with the team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
क्योंकि मैंने अभी बॉस पोर्टल पे फिर से आंसर सेंड किया यानी इसमें पता नहीं होता कि आप तक पहुंचा है कि नहीं पहुंचा है, इसीलिए.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll definitely check that one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So any questions till now? Any questions you guys have with respect to any of the 3 examples that we discussed? No? Okay. If no further questions, let's move to the some more questions. I'll try to discuss more questions so that we could have a good understanding of the topic. Yeah, I have zoomed in so that you guys can see. CA Sant, a newly qualified professional with a certificate of practice, approached CA Pant, the auditor of his father's company, Max Limited, to allow him to have some practical and professional knowledge and experience in his firm before he can set up his own professional practice. CA Pant allowed him to sit in an office for 6 months and allotted a small chamber with the office infrastructure facility. In the course of his association with the CA Pant's office, he used to provide tax consultancy services independently to the clients of the firm, also filed few IT and GST returns and represented himself before various tax authorities on behalf of the firm, although no documents were signed by him. During his association with the CA Pant's office, he did not get any salary or share or commission, but only reimbursement of usual expenses like conveyance, telephone, etc. Was made to him. After the end of the agreed period, he was given a lump sum amount of rupees 3 lakh by CA Pant for his association out of gratitude, examining the case in the light of Code of Professional Misconduct. So what is the problem over here? Take 2 minutes, read the question again, and just try to answer. Anyone?
This case may be professional misconduct under clause 1, part 1 of first schedule, where a practicing chartered accountant in his name, he is allowing in his name to practice CA Sant, whereas CA Sant is not a partner in his firm and not an employee even in this firm, because he is not receiving any salary.
Okay. Anyone else with a different answer? Yes, Mancha, if CA is employed in a CA firm, he will be counted as deemed to be in practice. I will take it up part-time COP concept, after the questions. Don't worry on that. Meanwhile, any other answers you guys have? Any other answers? No? No answers? Okay. Yes, absolutely correct. Here, the clause 1, part 1 of first schedule, okay, states that, if a chartered accountant in practice, if he allows any person to practice in his name, unless such person is a CA in practice and it is in partnership or employed by him, in that case, it is fine. Otherwise, he will be deemed guilty of professional misconduct. Here in the current scenario, if you see CA Sant is a newly qualified and he approached to CA Pan that, okay, allow me to sit in your office, okay, and allow me to do, understand the practice and do some practice. And he did that. Okay. He used to provide tax consultancy independently to the client of the firm and also filed a few IT and GST returns. So he acted on behalf of CA Pan. As a result, you can say that clause 1, part 1 of first schedule will get attracted. Now, if I talk about how to write the answer here, because that is most important and useful thing, that we need to also understand. Okay, so if you see, whenever you want to write an answer, first of all, you need to provide with the provision, the basic provision. What is the provision that you want to, relate to the answer? In the current scenario, this is the basic provision. Clause 1, part 1 of first schedule. The whole scenario is explained of clause 1, part 1. Okay. What is there? Then you explain the scenario. What has happened? What has happened in that particular scenario? Once you explain the scenario, then you correlate the scenario with the clause or with the particular provision and give your conclusion. So in the end, the conclusion is guilty of professional misconduct as per clause 1, part 1, first schedule. And whenever you write in your exam, make sure you write fully, like clause 1, part 1, first schedule of the Chartered Accountants Act. Do not only write clause 1, do not only write clause 1, part 1, or in short form, clause 1, part 1, first schedule, or something like that. No. In a particular form, write in a way that is there, like first clause, then part, then schedule, then CA Act. Okay. So always remember this particular part. Sometimes, people write that the first clause, second part, or first part, and this first schedule, this part and this clause like this way. No, sometimes they change the part with the part first. Instead of part 1, they write first part. Don't do that. Write the way it is. We call it part first, part 1. So we write it part 1, not the first part. First part, even if I write one part or, first part, some students do that. That is wrong. Do not attempt that. Sometimes they convert into first schedule into schedule 1. Like this way. Schedule 1. No, don't do that. That is also incorrect. The way it is there is clause 1, part 1, first schedule of CA Act. No, Mancha, he will not be treated as a deemed to be in practice because he's not employed. He's just sitting in that office. So to be counted as the deemed to be in practice, he has to be employed by the CA fund. Okay, here he's just sitting and amount has been paid. But there is no employer-employee relationship. Neither he has been employed by the CA fund. So I cannot say that he's, deemed to be in practice here.
So actually he's having COP, so he's actually in practice, so he can't be deemed to be in practice.
Yes. So he has a COP already, but I cannot say that, he's a deemed to be practice just because he's doing employment. So the question on that POS portal, I received that way. Any other doubts? Any doubt? No? Okay, if no further doubt, let me take up another question. Okay, just a minute. Okay. So the next question is, Mr. X, a newly qualified CA, started his practice from 15 August 2021. On 16 August 2021, he hired his friend as an article assistant. In addition to monthly stipend, Mr. X also offered 1% profit of his CA firm to him as he was his good friend. He agreed to take both 1% of the profit of the CA firm and stipend as per the rate prescribed by the ICAI. The Institute of Chartered Accountants India sent a letter to Mr. X objecting the payment of 1% of profit. Mr. X replies to the ICAI that stating that he is paying 1% of the profit of his firm over and above the stipend to help the article assistant, as the financial position of the article assistant is weak. Is Mr. X liable to professional misconduct?
He will be held as a professional misconduct, guilty for professional misconduct under clause 2 of part 1 of the first schedule, where he is paying or allowing to pay or agrees to pay any share from his profit or fees as the fees to a person who is not a member, not a partner, or not a partner with him.
Okay, good. Anyone else? Anyone else? No? Okay, Jeannie, very good. Yes. Yes, Mancha, good. So, yes, the correct answer is clause 2, part 1, first schedule. Why? Reason because he's sharing or he agrees to pay to a person who is not a member of institute or a specified person. Remember when we discussed the clause 2, at that particular point in time, we also discussed who are the specified person, like regulation 53A, member of such professional bodies or person with such qualification with whom he can share. Otherwise, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Remember? Same way, over here, he's sharing with a person who is neither a member of institute, nor a partner, retired partner, legal representative of a leased partner, nor a member of such professional bodies which is prescribed under regulation 53A, or a person having such qualifications. In that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So, clause 2, part 1, first schedule. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? No? Okay. Let me proceed to some more questions. Okay. Mr. S, a chartered accountant, published a book and gave his personal details as an author. These details also mention his professional experience and his present association as a partner with Messrs. RST, a firm. Kindly comment with respect to the CA Act and its schedules. So question number 5, tell me what is the problem over here and whether he will be held guilty of professional misconduct or not. Come on, guys. He will be held guilty of professional misconduct or not, whether it is fine or not. Your voice is not audible. Your voice is not audible, Raj.
I'm saying clause 6, part 1, first schedule, soliciting client and professional work, either directly, indirectly, by circular, advertisement, or any other mean. Like it's amount to solicitation of client. If you are mentioning professional experience and RS name, then you are not required to mention professional experience and inform them on the book or publishing.
I'm sorry. You can write on the BOS portal, but your voice is not audible. Still, there is, I think, some issue with your network connection. Anyone else, meanwhile, would like to answer? Anyone else? Yes, Mancha, very good. Yes, Ginny, very good. No, no one. See, what was with respect to book? Let's go back to the what we discussed in the previous session. Can anyone tell me what we discussed with respect to the publication of book, article, or some similar kind of things, like publication of book, article, or presentation? What was the requirement? What can we present on that book? What can we write on that book? Can anyone tell me? Okay, let's go back to that particular notes that we prepared at that point in time. Remember, we wrote something like this: publication of books where the name of the firm and designation of chartered accountant can be mentioned. Now, in the current question, he is mentioning professional experience also. But what is allowed is the name of the firm, this one, and the designation chartered accountant, not the professional experience. Professional experience cannot be mentioned on the book, articles, or presentations. As a result, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct under clause 6, part 1, first schedule. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. Let's go to the question number 7. Here. Mr. Rival, a chartered accountant in practice, delivered a speech in the national conference organized by the Ministry of Textiles. While addressing the audience, he informed that he is a management expert and his firm provides services of taxation and audit at a reasonable rates. He also requested the audience to approach his firm of chartered accountants for these services, and at the request of the audience, he also distributed his business card, telephone number of his firm to those in audience. Comment with reference to the CA Act and the schedules thereto. So, he discussed about the firm, what he does, distributed the cards, telephone numbers in the audience. What do you think? And why? Why is very important. Okay, Prashant, yes, good.
Sir,
Yes.
he can be held guilty for professional misconduct under clause 5 of the first schedule, part 1, where it was we studied that if he secures any business or any of the work through the means which are not open to a chartered accountant, then he will be guilty of professional misconduct. And in the present case, he himself is inviting to the audience without any request of inquiry received from the audience.
But the question here is, how can you say that he has received the business through that? So, if he secures the business through means which are not open to chartered accountant, okay?
Soliciting clients through advertisement.
Not the he has not secured the work, but he's more of soliciting and advertising the not the he has not secured the work, but sorry. Okay, so as a result, he is trying to solicit the clients or professional work either directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, or you can say personal communication, or here in the case is interview. Okay, and as a result, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct for clause 6, part 1, first schedule. Any doubts till now? Any doubts?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, he distributed his business card on the request of his clients, of the audience. So is it okay?
He also requested the audience to approach him first. So first of all, like providing that he is a management expert, being a chartered accountant, using some any designation. Number two, he's also saying that he provides the services of taxation and audit at reasonable wage. He's trying to solicit professional work, okay, by the way of interview. That is also not allowed. Now, distributing the cards and business cards and telephone numbers to those in the firm, of his firm, those in the audience. But again, if you see, he also requested the audience to approach him at the first. So this is not okay at all. Any doubt? Any doubt till now? Okay. If no further doubt, let's see the question number 8. Very important. A special notice has been issued for a resolution at third annual general meeting of Fidel Limited, providing expressly that the CA Smart should not be reappointed as an auditor of the company. Consequently, CA Smart submitted a representation in writing to the company as provided under Section 144, Clause 3 of Companies Act 2013. In the representation, CA Smart incorporated his independent working as a professional throughout the term of office and also mentioned about the fundamental principles that maintain throughout the term in a dignified manner. Advice on the above with reference to the CA Act and schedules thereto. Read the question and tell me what is wrong.
Sir, the question is not visible fully.
Is it visible fully now? The question number 8?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Read again for 2 minutes and then tell me what is the issue in this particular question, or whether he will be held guilty of professional misconduct or not. Mansha, I have received your doubt. I'll be taking it in some time. Just let me complete the questions. I'll be taking that. Can anyone tell me what is the issue over here? Or whether he will be held guilty of professional misconduct or not?
He won't be held guilty because he had not done any kind of advertisement for the representation. He has mentioned that he is represented in very dignified manner. So now,
Okay. Okay. Good. Any other answer, or anyone has a different answer in this case? Come on, guys. Any other answer? Anyone? No? Okay. Let me then take up the answer. So, see, scope of representation under Section 140, subsection 4, clause 4, clause 3, a chartered accountant, or the auditor basically, okay, is allowed to represent himself. Okay, where the notice is given of such a resolution that he is being not reappointed, in that case, he can, represent himself by a letter. That is fine. That is a right. Over there, by utilizing that right, he should not do advertisement, unnecessary publicity of his work. Okay, or he should not try to provide details or try to mention details which are not in a dignified way. Okay, but having said that, he can mention that, okay, how he has been acting independently, how he has maintained the fundamental principles throughout the term, and how he will be, in addition, if he can say that, okay, if he so chooses, if the company chooses, he is willing to continue and reappointed as an auditor. So these are the things he can mention. Otherwise, other things he cannot mention. So in the current case also, what C.A. Smart has mentioned, that the fundamental principle maintained, that he was working independent, throughout the term in a dignified manner, and he has not mentioned anything which is kind of advertisement or publicity or soliciting the work. As a result, there is nothing wrong in this, and clause 6 will not get attracted or clause 7 will not get attracted. So C.A. Smart is not guilty of professional misconduct. Clear? So I would write here, not guilty of professional misconduct. Any doubt? Any doubt? No? No doubts? Okay. If no further doubts, then just let me take up one more question and then we can proceed to the next topic. Okay. So let's discuss question number 18 over here. Mr. A is a practicing chartered accountant working as a proprietor of Messrs. A&E Company. He went abroad for 3 months. He delegated the authority to Mr. Y, a chartered accountant, his employee, okay, for taking care of routine matters of his office. During his absence, Mr. Y has conducted, under the mentioned jobs in his name of Messrs. A&E Company. He issued the audit queries to the client, which were raised during the course of audit. He attended the income tax proceedings for a client as authorized representative before the income tax authorities. Comment on the eligibility of Mr. Y for conducting such jobs in the name of Messrs. A&E Company and the liability of Mr. A under the CA. Okay, so we are discussing question number 18. I would suggest have a read once again and tell me whether he will be held guilty of professional misconduct or not. Come on.
Sir, here chartered accountant Y, here no information is given in the question whether he is a practicing chartered accountant or not. If you assume that he is not holding any practice certificate, and then we can say that there is a professional misconduct under clause 1 of the part 1 first schedule, where he is allowing any person to practice in his name who is not his practicing employee or a practicing partner.
Okay. Okay. Any other answers? Anyone else has?
So in first case, he issued audit queries. He can do so. It does not lead to any misconduct. Whereas in attending the income tax proceedings, he may be held guilty, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, guilty under clause 12, part 1 first schedule. In the second case.
Okay. Any other answers?
Sir,
Hmm.
Mr. Y would also be held guilty because he is not having any certificate of practice, and even then he is rendering the services which are allowed for a CA in practice. It will be considered to be deemed in practice, but without having any legal certificate for practice.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. So let's understand clause 12 first. Okay. In some detail, let's understand the clause 12. What clause 12 is about? Clause 12 says that if a CA in practice allows a person not being a member of the institute, okay, allows a person not being a member of institute in practice or a member not being his partner to sign on his behalf or of his behalf of the firm any balance sheet, profit and loss account or report of financial statement, then he may be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. That is a clause 12 as of now. Okay. Now, if you see here, there are certain things which an employee can do. Employee who is a chartered accountant, who is a member of institute can do, and that can be delegated to the employee. Number one, what is that? Issuing audit queries. So here, the first part is he issued audit queries. So that is allowed. Mr. Y, he being the employee and chartered accountant can issue audit queries. Perfectly fine. There will be no issue on that particular part. Second, he attended the income tax proceedings for clients as authorized representative before various income tax authorities. Now that we need to understand whether it is appropriate or not. Okay. Now, if you attend routine matters in tax practice, being an employee, if you attend routine practice in tax practice, routine matters in tax practice, subject to the provisions of the Income Tax Act, which allows, or if there is no restriction on that particular part, in that case, it is perfectly fine. That can be delegated. Okay. So here in this scenario, these tasks can be delegated to Mr. Y. Now, if I have to show you the same in the study material, just let me show you so that you guys can have reference from the study material also for your understanding. Everyone come to page number 19.85. If you have open, fine. Otherwise, I will show you page number 19.85. The list which is prescribed by the council, wherein like what is allowed and under which conditions this clause will not get attracted. Okay, so there is a list in this scenario. The council has clarified the power to sign routine documents, okay, on which a professional opinion or authentication is not required and will not attract the provision of this clause. The first one is the audit query, but if you see over here, ninth one is attending to routine matters in tax practice. Now, why this clause is there, clause 12? Because this clause is there, to protect or to, not allow any chartered accountant to sign, to allow anyone else to sign on his behalf. Let's say I am a chartered accountant. So this clause is there to restrict me to allow anyone else to sign on my behalf on balance sheet, profit and loss account, or financial statement. That doesn't mean I cannot delegate small tasks, routine tasks to my employees. I can delegate, and that is allowed also. That was the point in the question. So in question number 18, the point was he attended the income tax proceedings and he also issued the audit queries, which is perfectly fine. And as a result, there is no liability on Mr. A. Any doubt till now? Any doubt with respect to this? Yes, Mancha, clause 12 will not get attracted. He is not guilty because clause 12 will not there. Correct answer. So here the question of COP will not come into the picture because they are doing the routine matters, not a signing of balance sheet or giving any opinion on behalf of the firm. Any doubt, guys? Any doubt till now? No? No doubts? If no doubt, let's see the question number 19 on a similar line. Okay. Mr. K, a practicing chartered accountant, is a proprietor of Mr. K and Company since 1995. He went abroad in the month of December 2018. He delegated the authority to Mr. Y, a chartered accountant, his employee, for taking care of important matters of his office. During his absence, Mr. Y has conducted the under-mentioned jobs in the name of Messrs. K and Company. He issued net worth certificate to a client for furnishing to a bank. He attended the GST proceedings for a client as authorized representative before GST authorities. Now, please comment on the eligibility of Mr. Y for conducting such jobs in the name of Mr. K and Company. Okay. Now, in this question, we were discussing the way that here he has issued net worth certificate. Do you think clause 12 will get attracted for the net worth certificate? As of now, keep the GST aside. Do you think net worth certificate for net worth certificate clause 12 will get attracted? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
No, sir, because he is not giving his opinion on the financial statement.
Okay. Anyone else?
Sir, under clause 2 of part 1, second schedule, if a certification is given without being verifying the process which has been undergone by the Mr. Y, would it be a professional misconduct for Mr. A?
So, see, now there are two parts. One is the eligibility of Mr. Y and the liability for Mr. K. Mr. K was the main practicing CA. Now, Mr. Y is basically a chartered accountant. Let's discuss first Mr. Y because I will come on the part of Mr. K. That is something more to discuss on. But your point is there as of now. I've taken your answer. Let's discuss first on Mr. Y. Can he issue net worth certificate? Yes or no? Yes or no? Whether this will be so, is Mr. Y eligible to issue net worth certificate? Will it count? Will it be part of my routine work? Yes, no. Okay. So in the clause 12, when I talk about, signing the report or financial statement, okay, signing the report or financial statement. Now, the term financial statement is to be understood in such a way that, a certificate or accounts or something of a similar nature where a professional opinion is issued. Okay. So the subject matter of the report should be like expressing a professional opinion. So if any professional opinion is issued, that will be covered by clause 12. That will not be counted as a routine documents. Understand? Because routine documents is where you do not issue a professional opinion. If I go back, okay, if I go back and if we discuss this, like on which a professional opinion or authentication is not required. Net worth certificate is a document where you give a professional opinion. It cannot be counted as a routine task, routine document. No, net worth certificate will not fall under the category of the routine documents. As a result, Mr. Y cannot issue net worth certificate. First thing, Mr. Y is not eligible to issue net worth certificate. Now coming to Mr. K, who is the charter accountant in practice. Okay. Now coming to Mr. K, what is the liability of Mr. K? Under which clauses Mr. K will be held guilty of professional misconduct? One you already have, clause 12. Anyone, any clause, any other clause, do you think? Any other clause, do you think, where he will be held guilty of professional misconduct? Come on, guys. Try to answer. Don't think whether it will be wrong or right. Just let's try to answer whether what will be the clauses that will be attracted for Mr. K. Yes, Mancha. Good. Yes, Prashant. Correct answer. Yes, Ginny. Very good. Correct answer. Any other clause do you think it will come into the picture? Someone said clause 2 of part 1 of second schedule. Clause 2, part 1, second schedule. But in clause 2, part 1, it is said that if he certified to submit in his name or the name of the firm a report of financial statement, a report on the examination of financial statement, unless such examination is not done by him, his partner, or his employee. Now here employee is there. So that's why I will say clause 2 will not get attracted. But any other provision which will get attracted. Anyone? Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
Mr. K can be held guilty of under clause 7, where he does not exercise due diligence, because he should know about what he can do or cannot. He cannot allow him to sign in his name the net worth certificate.
Okay. Okay. I have another clause which may be considered on a similar lines. That is a clause 1, part 1 of first schedule, where he allows any person to practice in his name. Someone may say that, okay, issuing net worth certificate on behalf of the company or behalf of the firm is kind of, allowing someone, a chartered accountant who is not in practice, okay, to practice in the name of firm. Clause 1 may get affected if you interpret from that point of view. So I would say clause 1, part 1, first schedule is a more fit compared to the 7 one. Remember, clause 1, part 1, first schedule allows any person to practice in his name as a chartered accountant unless such person is also a chartered accountant in practice and is employed by him. So employee should be a chartered accountant in practice to allow that person to practice in his name. Here, Mr. Y is a chartered accountant, not in practice. So he cannot practice in name of Mr. K, or he cannot issue net worth certificate under the firm's name of Mr. K. So someone may take that opinion also. That is also fine. Any doubt? Any doubt till now? So clause 12 also is there. Clause 1 can be also there if you interpret from that point of view.
Sir, will he not be considered as deemed in practice, sir? Deemed in practice, deemed to be in practice.
But for that, here he has to apply for the COP. In order to be counted as in practice, he has to apply for the COP. Now here there is no detail on the COP. So that's why I say it can be considered.
Okay. Thank you.
Any doubts? Any doubt till now? No? Okay. If no doubt, shall we take one more question? Very good question I have. Okay. Let's take one more question. Now, this question is a bit long to read. So I would say just pay attention to the question that we are reading. And okay. And if you have any doubts, you can ask during the question itself, like to understand the question. So the question is, Mr. A, statutory auditor of XYZ Limited, a manufacturing company where the trade payables, trade receivable, cash, fixed asset comprises of 95% of total asset. Again, point to be focused upon. Trade payables, trade receivables, cash, fixed asset comprises of 95% of the total assets. Now, issued the following audit report. Mr. A has issued the following audit report. Extract of the audit report. The report on the audit of standalone financial statement and the opinion paragraph there. We have audited the accompanying XYZ 31st March profit and loss account, all that stuff. Okay. In our opinion, best to the information given to us subject to the comments enumerated in the basis of qualified opinion paragraph below. Again, so there is a qualified opinion paragraph. So opinion is qualified as of now. Okay. And everything is a true and fair, and that is given. Fine. Now, there is a basis for qualified opinion. Okay. There is a basis for qualified opinion. And if you read that basis for qualified opinion, so this is a normal standard text of the basis for qualified opinion. We will go to the next part. So these are some matters which are basis for the qualified opinion. Our opinions stand modified for the following or below matters. Number 1, we have not verified the cash balance as on 31st March 2020. Refer note 22 of the financial statement due to high number of locations on which the cash was stored and maintained. However, the management has provided appropriate representation on the same. Point number 2, we are not able to verify the balance of trade receivable. Refer note 24 of the financial statement, and trade payables. Refer note 12 of the financial statement, as no reply to the confirmations rolled out were received. However, management has provided appropriate representations for the same. Third point, we would like to bring your attention to the fixed asset mentioned in note 16 of the financial statement regarding the physical verification of the fixed asset. As these fixed assets are situated at the far location, it was not feasible for us to perform a physical count. Management performed their routine physical verification and we have relied on the same. Now you have to comment in the code in the light of code of conduct. There are 3 modifications because of which a qualified opinion has been issued. These are the 3 modifications. This is part of the audit report. Now tell me what is the issue here. And based on these modifications, qualified opinion has been issued.
Failed to invite departure from generally accepted audit procedures as SA 705. It would be a disclaimer of opinion because it comprises 95% of which is material as well as pervasive. So the opinion given is wrong because it will be disclaimer. So clause 9 of part 1 of second schedule will be attracted.
Okay. Okay. Any other answers? Anyone else would like to answer this question?
Would it be a case of due negligence because at least they would have looked at material transaction and verified certain cash balances and at least verified a certain number of fixed assets. When they have completely not verified, when they have not verified anything, they have not justified any of their scope of the audit. So I would classify it as due negligence, hence part second schedule part 1 clause 7, sir.
Okay. Great, Nisha. Anyone else? Okay, Mansha, good. Anyone would like to give any further answers on this or any other answer? Okay, so yes, Pooja.
The kind of opinion he expressed here was a qualified one where he stated that subject to the 1, 2, 3 points, rest of the points are representing true and fair view. Where in the present case, 95% of the majority of the materiality items were covered in the qualified opinion point, then he cannot say that the financial statements are providing true and fair view. So opinion should be an adverse opinion.
Okay, so accepted, opinion should be adverse opinion. Then what will be the whether he will be held guilty of professional misconduct?
I think he will be held guilty of professional misconduct for reporting baselessly, where he has not obtained sufficient material information to give a base for his opinion what he have expressed.
And any relevant clause you would like to quote?
Clause number 8 of the second schedule part 1.
Okay. Okay, great.
And also clause 9 also. Is departing from applicable audit procedures.
Anyone else or anyone else would like to give an answer for this one? Any other answers? Okay, no issues. I will provide. Let's discuss the answer for this one. Understand first thing over here is like as you correctly pointed out, that in this case a qualified opinion has been issued, but majority of the part of total asset, that was 95% of the portion, has not been verified, had not been any audit procedure or audit evidence has not been collected on those. As a result, there are few things that is that is there in this particular scenario. Number one is that clause 8 will get attracted because I am taking such exceptions that are sufficient or material enough to negate my expression of opinion. Means my exceptions in this case are of such nature that they are negating my expression of opinion. I'm saying I have not verified the cash. I'm not saying I have not verified the trade payables, trade receivables. I'm saying I have not verified the fixed asset. Still, I'm saying only qualified opinion. 95% of the things are not being verified, and still I'm saying qualified opinion. It has to be an adverse opinion or disclaimer of opinion. I would say rather disclaimer of opinion because of the, we will discuss that particular part, that why adverse, why disclaimer, when we will discuss SA 705. Okay. But whatever it is, it should not be a qualified opinion. Okay. It should not be a qualified opinion. So first of all, I am taking such exceptions which are negating my expression of opinion. Number one. Number two, there is a audit. There are certain audit procedures that I need to follow. When I do not follow those generally accepted procedures of audit, and if there is any departure, I need to bring attention of the users or readers of the financial statement, readers of the audit report to those departures. Here, there have been departure from the generally accepted procedures of audit. That is, I have not performed any alternate procedures. I have not performed cash count. I have not verified the fixed asset. I'm not properly bringing their attention to that particular part. Rather, I'm giving a modification. So I'm not bringing attention of the users to the departure of generally accepted audit procedures. Rather, if you see, I'll show you one more thing. Yeah, over here, that we have conducted our audit of standalone financial statement in accordance with the standards on auditing specified under section 143(10) of the Act. No, we have not. There is a departure. So we failed to bring, attention of the user to the departure from the generally accepted procedures of audit. Clause 9. Now there is a clause 8. There is a clause 9 in the picture. They both get attracted. Now someone may say also that, even after that we are taking such an exception, even after the materiality, we are just issuing a qualified opinion, and hence clause 7, where a member in practice or a CA in practice is grossly negligent or it does not exercise due diligence in the conduct of his professional duties. It can be said that because here the opinion which is issued has not been considered or is not being issued on the basis of materiality. So clause 7 8 and 9, all three will be applicable. All three will be applicable in the current scenario. Any doubt? Any doubt with respect to this? So it's not only one thing or one particular clause that will be attracted, but 3 different clauses are getting attracted because the opinion is issued in such a way. Any doubt till now? Okay. If no further doubts, what I propose here is, let's take a quick 10-minute break. After the break, we'll gather back and continue, and we will discuss rest of the Council General guidelines that are yet to be discussed. So we have done a lot of practice. I will just request that, okay, try to summarize whatever we have done till now. Okay, let's during that break, and after the break, we'll continue with the Council General guidelines. Okay, let's take a quick 10-minute break. Yes. let's continue the session. So now we will be continuing with the Council General Guidelines. So some of the portion of Council General Guidelines we have already taken in past sessions. Now we will be continuing the rest of the guidelines. So the Council General Guidelines are divided in chapters. So one by one, we will take each of the chapter of the Council General Guidelines. Okay. The first one we will be taking, and I will be referring directly module here so that you guys can also save a reference of that. Okay. So let's come to the page number 19.112 of the module. Okay. Over there is a chapter 5 which talks about maintenance of books of account. Okay. Now, under this particular chapter or this particular part of the Council General Guidelines, it says that a member of the institute in practice, okay, or the firm of chartered accountant of which he is a partner shall keep and maintain the following books of accounts. So these books of accounts are required to be maintained in respect of his professional practice. So that is the cash book and the ledger book. So ledgers plus cash, these two things are mandatory to be kept. Remember, we discussed one question on the similar line. If you do not maintain the books just because you say that you are into one, you are falling under the section 44 ADA, still you will be violating the Council General Guidelines, and as a result, you will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay, so maintenance of books of account. Then the next part is tax audit assignments. How many tax audit assignments or maximum number of tax audit assignments a chartered accountant in practice or a firm of chartered accountant can take? Okay. So a member of the institute shall not accept certain number of more than certain number of tax audit assignments. Now, what is the number that we are referring over here? Okay, what is that number? Now, the number here for the tax audit assignments, okay, in case of a proprietary firm is 60. Okay, in case of a partnership firm, it is 60 per partner. Okay, so when I talk about this specified number over here, this is nothing but 60. So when I talk about proprietor, there is only one chartered accountant in practice, so it will be 60. But when I talk about partnership of the firm, so for each partner of the firm, it will be 60 individually. For each partner of the firm, 60 individually. If they have 3 partners, 3 into 60, it will be 180. Like this way. Okay. Now, the question comes is that whether the partners can sign only their portion of the tax audits or they can sign any tax audit. Okay. So, for example, whether a partner can sign only his portion of tax audit or he can sign any portion of tax audit. Let's say this 180 is there. Okay. Now, let's say there are 3 partners, A, B, and C. A signed 100 audits, B signed, let's say 20 audit, and C signed rest of the 40 audits. Sorry, not 40. He signed 60 audits. Or I'll change this ratio bit. Let's say 10 and 70. Okay. So 100, 10, and 70. Now you tell me, can they sign more than the per audit allowed for a partner? Now the per audit allowed per partner is 60, the tax audit. But partner A signed 100, partner B signed 10, and partner C signed 70. Can they do that? Yes, no?
Yes, they can sign.
Okay, Sumit. Anyone else?
No, sir. Each partner maximum 60, sir.
Okay, good, Nisha. Anyone else would like to answer?
The limit has to be taken firm-wise, not partner-wise. So a single partner can file all the 180 tax audit in his individual name also.
Okay. Anyone else would like to answer this one? Okay. So yes, Sumit, you are correct. Basically, and the total partnership firm that can be the tax audit that can be signed by a partnership firm is 180. And now each partner is allowed to sign whatever they want to. Let's say partner A can sign 100, partner B can sign 10, and partner C can sign 70, provided the total number should not exceed to 180, which is for the partnership firm. Now the count is per partner, but when it comes to signing, it can be signed by a single partner. There is no issue in that. So this is fine. A can sign 100, B can sign 10, and C can sign 70. Counting is per partners, but signature is firm wide. Clear? So sign can be done by any of the partner. So partner A can sign all 180, perfectly fine, no issues in that. But he cannot sign more than 180, which is allowed for the firm. Now, how 180 is calculated is by each partner. Like 3 partners, each partner is allowed 60 to total 180. Now, tell me one thing, whether the audits under section, now we are talking about tax audit, okay? What about audit under section 44 AD, 44 ADA, and 44 AE? Shall I count these audit also, or only audit under section 44 AB?
So only audit under section 44 AB.
Anyone? Should I count all the audit, all the tax audit, because the term here is tax audit, or should I count only audits under section 44 AB? Okay, okay, Mansha. Anyone else?
Sir, only under section 44 AB.
Okay. So, yes, when I need to count the 60, it is only under section 44 AB, not, so I need to exclude 44 AD, ADA, and ADE. So these are exclusions from the count. These are not required to be counted for the purpose of specified numbers. So I'm not required to count 44 AD, ADA, and AE for the purpose of, calculation of 60 tax audits, either per partner or let's say for the firm. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt till now? Okay. One more point here is, let's say I'm doing a branch audit, tax audit for a branch and tax audit for the head office. So I have prepared the financials separately. Okay. So branch plus head office. I have prepared the financials separately. Should I count these two separate or together as a one audit?
Together as a one audit.
Anyone else?
Different, sir, because standalone balance sheet will be done for both.
Okay. Anyone else would like to answer? No? Okay. So branch and head office I'll be taking as a one, not separately, because whenever you do a audit, you prepare a all together. So I would not consider branch and head office as a different entities, rather they are the part of same legal entity. So I will be counting as a legal entity wise rather than the branch office and head wise. So not separately counted. The reason because is they are the same legal entity. They are the part of the same legal entity. Okay. And the limit is legal entity wise, not the branch wise or the head office wise.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, in the case of the Reliance Retail, because they are having the the Reliance stores in all our country, so only a single tax audit report will be there, or the separate store-wise report will be there, tax audit report?
See, now you tell me, when there's a tax audit report, okay, do you prepare it assessee wise or do you prepare the branch of assessee wise?
So branch wise.
Tax audit report branch wise. Rather, we prepared assessee wise, if I am not wrong. So the businesses which are, falling after the threshold, those businesses will be covered under the tax audit.
Yes, it will be taken as one.
Yes. Sorry, you were saying something. Basically, what happens is, let's say there's a retail trade business. Now, if the retail trade business is crossing that threshold, tax audit report will be done for that business. So it will not be branch wise, rather they are the business related, business wise, and all the business turnovers crossing the threshold will be covered under that particular tax audit.
Yes, clear.
Yeah. So branch head office will be not counted different. It will be counted separately. It will be counted as a one. Clear? Any doubt? No? Okay. The way we have specified number for the tax audit, same way under chapter 8, we have specified number for the company's audit also. Okay. Now in the company's audit, again, the specified number, the way it is there in the tax audit is the same way is there in the company's audit for the specified number of audit assignment. Now the point here is, there are certain companies that we need to exclude, and the number here is 30. Okay, 30 audit assignments. 30 audit assignments. Now we need to exclude 1% company and dormant companies from that. So these are the exclusions in the calculation of 30 assignments for the company audit. Okay. Same way, the way we had 60, here we have 30. 30 in respect of proprietor, 30 in respect of per partner.
But sir, as per the Companies Act, there is a limit of 20 statutory audit. So the institute guidelines will prevail, or the Companies Act will prevail in this case?
Obviously, the one which is the stricter one.
Means 20.
Yeah. I'll come on to that part also. But as of now, there is a 30 which is allowed in the Council General Guidelines. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Any doubt? No? Okay. Now, now the part is that we need to also look into, okay, whether the same things, whether the branch and the head office will be same or different, whether we are when we are auditing, branch or head office, should we count separately? So the way we discuss in the tax audit, it is the same. Head office and branch are to be counted as one, not a separate audit assignment. If we are doing a branch audit under the Companies Act also, it will be treated branch and head office as a one assignment, not a separate assignment. Okay. So all these things that we have discussed in the tax audit part will be applicable here also. Okay. So that was 30 for here, 30 for my company's audit, and 60 for my tax audit. These are the two limits that I wanted to discuss. Now, there is one important part that I want to also discuss is with respect to UDIN. Okay, UDIN requirements. Now, we all know that, UDIN is compulsory. So for all certificates with effect from 1st February 2019, for all GST and tax audit reports from 1st April 2019, and for all other audit, assurance and attestation functions with effect from 1st July 2019, UDIN is mandatory. And when I talk about UDIN, UDIN is nothing but a unique document identification number that you need to generate from the UDIN portal, okay, by filling up the details on that portal. So whenever we go for the generation of UDIN, we have to provide, okay, for what document we are generating, whether it's a certificate, it's an audit report or a tax audit report, what are the numbers in that, we need to fill up some numbers in that, we need to provide the description, we need to fill up the assessee details, and on the basis of that, we generate a unique document identification number. That document identification number is required to be published on that particular report. So you are required to mention UDIN number on that particular report, certificate, or the document which is there. Okay. So already you can say with effect from 2019, UDIN is applicable for all the assurance and attestation functions. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. No doubt till now? Any doubt till now? Any doubt? No? Okay, no issues. So the next that I want to discuss is online and third-party platform. So there is a restriction with respect to the online and third-party platforms. Okay. For example, let's say there is a platform, okay, which is providing or which is kind of, allowing chartered accountants to provide or render professional service. Okay, let's say there is XYZ platform which allows chartered accountant, okay, you provide advisory services or some services through our portal, okay, or through our particular website. In that case, can chartered accountant in practice use that particular online platform through, can use that online platform to provide assurance services, audit services? So answer is no, they cannot. Okay. Beside consulting or advising, which is rendered or which is permitted to a limited extent, no any other service should be provided through that particular platform. Even, when you are providing over there, you are required to maintain minimum details on that platform. It is not like that you should maintain all the things like professional achievements, firm details, and all that stuff. No, you cannot. Okay. What is permitted on that website? Okay. Or anything which is, not of advertising material, which is not of, such kind of thing you are trying to solicit the work. Remember clause 6 and 7. If something is kind of that nature, it is not permitted on that website or third-party platform. Clear? So you can provide minimum consultancy or some advisory services, or some advices can be rendered through that website, but not beyond that. No taxation service, no assurance service can be provided from that website. Okay. Any doubt? Okay. Then we have already discussed with respect to the aggregators. There is a aggregator, application-based aggregator services or something like that. Where all the charter accounts are brought together and someone can select the professional services. Okay. So aggregators kind of thing, the way we have, for food or for other things. Is it permissible for charter accountants? Answer is no. It is not permissible for charter accountant to use such kind of aggregator services or should be part of that particular aggregator platform. No, it is not permissible. Okay. So aggregators not permissible. Next part that I want to discuss here and is a very important part is with respect to the fees. And that's a part of code of ethics. Okay. Now, what is this requirement with respect to fees? I'll explain. Now, in code of ethics, so there is a requirement of the disclosure. Again, I'm saying there is a requirement of the disclosure. There is no prohibition I'm talking about. So some students take this as a prohibition, but this is not a prohibition. Only a disclosure requirement when it comes to the fees. Now, what is this disclosure requirement? And when this is applicable? We need to understand that. Okay, so this particular disclosure requirement is applicable in certain scenarios, and that scenarios are bifurcated in two different categories. One, when the entity to whom we are providing the service is a public interest entity, and second, when it is a non-public interest entity. Okay. So from that point of view, we need to understand whether we can, basically provide we can disclose or we are required to disclose the fees that is being paid to us or not. Basically, it is nothing but section 410 of your code of ethics. And as I said, the requirement now differs in two categories. One, if it is a PI entity, public interested entity, or it's a non-PI, non-public interested entity. Okay. Now, what is the disclosure requirement? The disclosure requirement is with respect to the fees. Now, let's talk about first the non-PI case. When you have received a professional fee for 2 consecutive years, in case of non-PI, okay, 2 consecutive years, the professional fees of an audit of a client, I'm talking about that non-PI entity. So I'm receiving a professional fee from that particular client, which is more than 40% of total fee. So for 2 consecutive years, I'm receiving fee which is more than 40% of total fee of the firm. Again, if for the 2 consecutive years, if I am receiving a fees from a client which is more than 40% of the total fees of the firm, in that case, there is a need for a disclosure. Need for the disclosure of the fees. Not, there is no kind of, you can say, prohibition, no kind of ban, or, I cannot take the audit of that particular client. No. In that case, I just need to disclose that I have received that particular fees. So in this particular scenario, disclose to the institute. That's it. Disclose to the institute the fact that for the 2 consecutive years, the total fees represents more than 40% of the total fees received by the firm. Now, when I talk about fees, okay, over here, what is this fees about? What is this fees basically related to, or what it contains? Means, for example, whether this is audit fee, whether this is advisory fee, whether this is which kind of fee it is. So when I talk about fees, it is total gross professional fees received from that client. Plus its related entities. Okay. So when I talk about fees, it includes, I'll do a asterisk mark over here. It includes gross annual professional fees. Any professional fee at a gross level will be counted in that. And when I say non-PI, again, it should be audit client that is a non-PI. I'm talking about only audit client as of now. So when I'm receiving fees for the professional services delivered to that audit client, which is a non-PI, for 2 consecutive years, which exceed 40% of the total fee that the firm has received, in that case, I need to disclose to the institute. Clear? Any doubt with respect to this one? Any doubt? No? No doubts? Okay. If no doubt,
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
सर यहाँ पर जो 40% टोटल फी ऑफ द फर्म की बात की गई है, यहाँ पे ये यानी फुल ऑडिट फर्म की यानी टोटल फीस की बात की गई है.
Yes, fee received by that firm. I'm talking about CA firm.
अच्छा, और ये 40% जो है वो एक इंडिविजुअल ऑडिटर के लिए कहा गया है.
No, so 40, when I say 40%, 40% is, let's say there is a client, X Limited. I'm doing, he's an audit client. So already, if let's say X Limited is an audit client, I can only provide restricted services because of Section 144.
Yes.
Now, whatever services I'm providing to that audit client, X Limited, he's paying me some amount of fees. Now, if that fee is more than, okay, or is more than 40% of the total fees of the firm, in that case, means the fees that is I'm receiving from that client is making a big chunk of the firm's fees. In that case, I need to report to the institute.
Okay, sir. Okay, understood. Thank you, sir.
Only disclosure is required. Again, I'm saying there is no prohibition. So don't get confused. Okay, it is not allowed. I cannot receive more than 40%. It is not the case. Okay. Now, the second part here is this particular disclosure requirement. Now, there is an exception to this one. There is an exception to this, which says that if the fees that you have received, when it exceeds the 40%, but does not exceed 20 lakh rupees, in that case, there is no disclosure requirement. Okay. So no such ceiling of total fees will be applicable if does not exceed 20 lakh rupees. Now, I will also write it here. If does not exceed rupees 20 lakhs, then no such ceiling is applicable. Okay, then no such ceiling is applicable. So if it is exceeds 20 lakh and the 40% criteria, then only it is applicable. Plus, one more thing I just want to add here. I'll do highlight over here. Condition, one more condition. Now, this condition says that does not include, in the case of audit client, does not include government companies, public undertakings, or PSUs, public sector undertakings, public sector banks, nationalized banks, or something like that. Okay, so government undertakings and nationalized banks, public undertakings, public financial institutions, where appointment of auditor is made by the government or regulators, in those cases, it is not applicable. So this particular criteria will not be applicable. That is excluded from the audit client. Any doubt till now?
Sir, basically these guidelines have come because of the independence requirement. Because if a client is, because if an auditor is charging 20 lakh fees or more from a single client, that means that the client is too big to the auditor. So that's why he should report the same.
Correct. See, fees can become a problem or a threat to the fundamental principles, compliance to the fundamental principles. For example,
Yes.
when there is a huge fee involved, there could be a chance of self-interest threat, intimidation threat. Okay, because this fees is making a major chunk of the firm's total fees. That's why this disclosure requirement is brought into and is there in the picture.
And sir, these disclosure have to be given by auditor in which form or to which authority?
To institute.
Okay.
Disclosure is required to be given to institute.
Okay.
So on portal, self-service portal, there are forms and all this detail available. But I would say it is disclosure is required to be given to the institute.
Okay.
Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt till now with this one?
And sir, this fees only includes the statutory audit fees or any other compliance work also?
So the term which is as of now used is the gross annual professional fees. Now see, first of all, we are talking about audit clients. So any which ways the services that you can provide to an audit clients are very restrictive because of section 144.
Yes.
Okay, of the Companies Act, or because of the other requirements which are there in the picture. Now, whatever services you are providing, provided those are allowed, so whatever fees you are receiving for those services, like the total gross annual professional fees, not the audit fees, but the total gross annual professional fees, including all the services which you are providing, that we have to take into the picture. Now, let's say, for example, I'll just take an example. Mr. A received rupees 35 lakhs as fees for professional services from ABC Limited, I would say, or ABC Private Limited rather, as of now. ABC Private Limited, who is also an audit client. In year 2021-22. Okay. Now, for year 2022-23 and let's assume 23-24. Okay. He received rupees, let's say 45 lakhs and rupees 50 lakhs as a fees. The firm's total fees for these years are as below. FY and fees, total fees. 2021, 22, 22, 23 and 23, 24. Okay. So for the first year, for the 2021 and 22, he received total 50 lakhs as a firm fee. In subsequent year, he received 60 lakhs. And in that next year, he again received 70 lakhs. Now, the question is, when he is required to report, in which year he is required to report. Let's say Mr. A, he is CA in practice. Not to mention, but the question is in respect to that. So CA in practice, okay, providing audit service to ABC Private Limited. Now, this is the fees that he has received. Total fees of the firm and fees received from ABC Private Limited. 45 lakhs, 50 lakhs and 35 lakhs for these respective years. Now you tell me in which year the Mr. A is required to report. I'll tell you the reporting is required, but when? That is we need to understand.
In the year 23-24.
Okay.
So 22-23.
Okay. I'll extend this example here. Okay. I'll just add some more years and then let's discuss further. Let's say 24-25. As of now, just understand, let's understand, fees has been received in 24-25. I am taking future years also, 25-26. Now, the total fees of the firm is, let's say, 80 lakhs. And again, 80 lakhs. And here, fees received from client from ABC Private Limited, rupees 50 lakhs. Okay. So in all the years, the fees that has been received is more than 40%. Now, in which year do you will report? In which all years you will report? Or will you report only in 22-23 or 23-24? Will you report after 2 years, after every 2 years? How will you report?
After 22-23 every year.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Every year from 20-23.
Anyone else? Anyone else would like to answer this one or provide some different answer? Anyone else would like to have a different answer over here? No? Okay. Yes, you are correct. So after 2 years, for the consecutive 2 years, if you are getting this much amount of fees, you are required to report, number one. Okay, so I will be reporting from 22 to 23. But if you continue to receive more than 40%, then you need to report in each year. So reporting will be done in each year after 22, 23. Report, 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 and report. So it's not like that I have to do one-time reporting. It's not like that I need to just report only what you say after every 2 years. No, I need to report if I'm receiving income fees more than 40%. I need to start reporting from second consecutive year, and if I continue to receive, then I need to do reporting continuously.
Sir, if any of the year the threshold has been below the limit, so in that year we have to report, but on the next year we do not have to report.
So whenever the limit goes below, you are not required to report. Any doubt with respect to this one? Any doubt?
सर अभी जो क्वेश्चन क्या था जो लास्ट की एक भी साल के अंदर अगर रिपोर्टिंग लिमिट डाउन हो जाती है तो हमें रिपोर्ट नहीं करना है उस साल से, राइट? बट अगर नेक्स्ट ईयर वापस से जैसे एक्सेप्शन ईयर होता है, लाइक वो एक्सेप्शन ईयर निकला और नेक्स्ट ईयर वापस से लिमिट में आता है, तो फिर से 2 इयर्स स्टार्टिंग से काउंट करने पड़ेंगे?
Starting से means from that year. So let's say for example, in 24-25 there was no reporting requirement. Okay. Now I will not report anything in this particular year. Then for 25-26 again it is increasing, and again you need to check for 26-27. If it is being increased for the 2 consecutive years, then only you need to report.
Okay, sir.
So that's why the term is used as a consecutive years.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, here, with respect to this was non-PI entity, non-public interest entity. What about PI, where the audit client is a public interest entity? Now, what is that in what is the requirement in that case? Everything will remain same. Everything remains same as PI. Oh, sorry, non-PI. Except 40% will become 20%. Everything will remain same, like 2 consecutive years, fees, definition. Instead of 40%, this 40% will become 20%. If I say it's a public interest entity, the 40% will become 20%. Clear? Any doubt? So again, the ceiling of 20 lakhs will be the same. Public banks or government companies, public undertaking, nationalized banks, all these things will be the same. Only the percentage of 40 will become 20. Consecutive reporting will also remain the same. So there will be no change in that. Okay. Any doubt till now for PI, for non-PI? Any doubt? No? Okay. Now, in connection to this, there is one more topic that I want to take it up. In connection to this only, there is one more topic with respect to the fees. Okay. Everyone come to page number 19.118 of the module. 19.118. Now, that is again part of Council General Guidelines. Okay. And that is chapter here for with respect to the appointment of statutory auditor. Okay. With respect to the appointment of statutory auditor, chapter 9. Now, what is the requirement over here that we need to understand? Again, it has something to do with the fees. So, the guideline says that a member of an institute who is in practice, he should not accept the assignment of the which type of companies? So, the type of companies are public sector companies, government companies, listed companies, and other public companies having turnover greater than 50 CR. So he should not accept appointment as a statutory auditor for these companies. If in any year or in that particular year, he has some other work from that company, okay, some other work from that particular company, if he accepts some other work from that particular company on a remuneration which exceeds, on a remuneration which in total exceeds the fees payable for statutory auditor or statutory audit. For example, if I am getting other services or other professional work from that particular company, which is allowed subject to other conditions, and the fees for that is more than my audit fees that I am getting from the same company, in that case, I should not accept appointment as a statutory auditor. Understand the point. Here, the companies are, here the companies are public sector undertaking, government company, listed company, other public companies having turnover of 50 crores. And if in a year, if I get any other work whose total fees exceed the fee payable for carrying out the statutory audit, means the fees I'm getting for that other work is more than the fees for statutory audit. In that case, I should not accept the appointment as a statutory auditor. Shall not accept the appointment as a statutory auditor. So, this is a criteria for the accepting the appointment as a statutory auditor with respect to the fees. Now, when I talk about other works, what is other works? Other works can be, any other work, services, assignment, all can be like, whatever I have earlier discussed under the head of management consultancy services permitted by the council, or all other professional services which are permitted by the council, or I can provide, but will not include any audit, certification, or assurance related thing. So this other work will include management consultancy service, but will not include audit, certification, which is required to be done by the statutory auditors. Sometimes you have a requirement in the SEBI Act or some other act where the statutory auditor is required to provide some certification or representation before authorities. So, will include management consultancy service, but will not include these things in the definition of other works. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt with respect to this one? There is a one good example given over here. A is an auditor of Z Limited, which has a turnover of 200 crores. The audit fee for the year is fixed at rupees 50 lakhs. During the year, the company offers A an assignment of management consultancy within the meaning of section 224 of the CA. Okay. For a remuneration of 1 crore. A seeks your advice on accepting the assignment. Now, if A accepts the assignments, in that case, what he will be doing is, he will be violating the Council General Guidelines. If he is violating the Council General Guidelines, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Remember, we discussed that part. If he does not comply with any act, regulation, or guidelines, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So, if Mr. A accepts the assignment, then he should have not accepted the position of an auditor. If he does both, then he is guilty of professional misconduct. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt with respect to this? With respect to the professional fees part over here? Any doubt? Okay. If no doubt, then there is another part that I want to discuss is with respect to the indebtedness. Means when I'm receiving some amount from the company or from the client, either in advance or, over and above the fees. Okay. Just a minute. Again, linked to the same topic of fees. Let me add few pages. Okay. Now, we will talk about chapter 10 of the Council General Guidelines. Again, it is related to the indebtedness and appointment of auditor. Chapter 10 of Council General Guidelines. Now, what this chapter 10 talks about? Chapter 10 simply says that when there is a CA in practice or a member of institute in practice or a partner of a firm, okay, or other specified person, okay, of that particular CA in practice or partner. I'll explain who are these other specified person. If they receive any amount from the company or from the audit client, basically, beyond 1 lakh rupees, which makes them indebted to that particular company or the audit client. Okay. In that case, the person, that the member of the institute who is in practice or the partner shall not accept as an appointment of the auditor. So, if member in practice or partner of firm or firm itself or a relative of such member partner, plus I would say including relative of such member or partner. Now these are the persons I'm talking about: member in practice, partner of a firm, or firm itself. If they, okay, if they are in debt to the concern or in debt to any of the client, okay, or audit any of the audit client, or they have given any guarantee, provided any security in respect to the indebtedness, particularly. In that case, and if that guarantee or the amount of the security or indebtedness exceed rupees 1 lakh, they will not be eligible or they shall not accept the appointment or as an auditor. If all these three indebted or given any security or guarantee or provided security exceeding rupees 1 lakh, in that case, that member, partner, or firm should not accept appointment. That member, partner, or firm shall not accept appointment as an auditor. Okay. Simple. Exceeding 1 lakh, indebted to the concern or audit client, give any guarantee in respect of any third person, okay, to the audit client, or provide security to the third in respect of any third person. Exceeding 1 lakh rupees, they will not be held. They should not accept the appointment as an auditor. Clear? Including the relative. I'm talking about including the relative.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, this is just like disqualification under section 141 subsection 3 clause
Yes.
D subclause 1 or 2.
Correct. Correct. Yes. It's on the similar line which you see over there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any doubts? Now the question comes is that what if the fees, let's say for example, Mr. A was appointed as an stat auditor for ABC Limited. Okay. During the year or during the audit, Mr. A received rupees 20 lakhs as a advance audit fee on progressive basis. Now he has received 20 lakhs advance fee on a progressive basis. Should I consider this as an indebtedness?
No, it is not considered as an indebtedness.
Anyone?
Sir, it is not a indebtedness as it is a fees which will be provided by the company on behalf of the consultancy services or any other services which A will provide to the company.
Okay. Okay. Any other answer to this? Any other answers you would like to give? No? Okay. Yes. As correctly pointed out or correctly provided the answer, when the fees is received on a progressive basis, okay, that particular amount, when the auditor is receiving the fees on a progressive basis, that is when the part of work is done or, without waiting for the whole job completion, I'm getting the fees on a progressive basis in advance. In that case, it cannot be said that he is in debt to the company, because I am getting the fees as in when the work is getting done, but before, the whole job is getting done. So not necessarily I should wait for the whole audit or for the whole assignment to get completed. In this case, he will not be counted as an indebtedness. So not disqualified kind of. It is perfectly fine to receive fees in advance on a progressive basis. Perfectly fine. And that will not fall part of chapter 10.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, under section 141, subsection 3, clause D, subclause 2, indebtedness will be of 5 lakh rupees. And here it is mentioned only 1 lakh. That is related to relative and the subsection, clause 1 related. Then what will be of rupees 5 lakh?
Sorry, can you just repeat your question? I was not able to hear properly. Can you just repeat it?
यानी कि 141 इसमें 2 क्लॉजेज है, सॉरी सब क्लॉजेज है. और नंबर 1 रिलेटेड टू सिक्योरिटीज विच उसमें है कि ऑडिटर बिल्कुल भी यानी कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं कर सकता सिक्योरिटीज के अंदर. और दूसरा जो है वो है इंडेप्टनेस से रिलेटेड, जिसके अंदर 5 लाख की लिमिट दी हुई है और रिलेटिव्स के लिए 1 लाख की लिमिट दी हुई है कि 1 लाख तक रिलेटिव अगर इंडेप्टनेस होगा तो वो यानी ऑडिटर डिस्क्वालिफाइड नहीं होगा. तो इसके अंदर यानी सिर्फ ये चैप्टर 10 के अंदर सिर्फ 1 लाख का जिक्र किया गया है, तो वो 5 लाख से रिलेटेड यानी कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. इसीलिए
See, I'm always required to follow the stricter one. Okay.
yes,
It's
sir.
not like that where if someone else more bigger amount is given, let's say for example 5 lakh rupees, okay, which you are saying is as per the one section 141, I think 141 D, 2D, oh sorry 3D,
D 2 1 and 2.
yeah. So over there higher limit is given. Okay, in that case it doesn't matter that over there is a higher limit is given, but I need to follow this particular limit, the stricter one which is applicable.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other doubts? Any other doubt? So guys, if in some other law a bit of more limit is prescribed, I would suggest always follow the stricter one. The stricter one will be first applicable, then the lenient one. Okay, if somewhere else the stricter version or the stricter rule is applicable, that is required to be followed first.
Then, sir, Companies Act will be prefer first. That is rupees 5 lakh limit.
No, see over there till the 5 lakh it is allowed. If you see the section over there till 5 lakh it is allowed. Point number 2 and point number 3, which is you are referring to. Okay. For the I think for the indebtedness and for the guarantee, again the amount is prescribed under the rules.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Rule 10 for the disqualification of auditor.
Yes,
now over there the amount, if you see, for the purpose of clause 2 is 5 lakh rupees.
Yes, sir.
And for the purpose of clause 3 is 1 lakh rupees. Different limits are given, correct?
Okay, sir.
Now over there, if that is more stricter, then I will follow the stricter one. If this is more stricter, then I will follow this one.
Then, sir, how we will come to know which is a stricter one?
Obviously this one, because let's say for example over there more than 5 lakh is something not eligible, and here 1 lakh is not eligible. I will first check the 1 lakh rupees.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Now clearly understand. Thank you, sir.
Any other doubt? Any doubt? Okay. If no further doubts, then quickly we will summarize whatever we have discussed on the professional ethics chapter number 19 till now. Okay, quickly we will summarize, and then I will just also discuss from the module part that what you need to refer. So to summarize, we started and we had a discussions on the various sections of the code of ethics, the fundamental principles. Then we discussed about NOCLAR, okay, section 230 or 260 and 360. Then we discussed about how to respond to that particular non-compliances. Then we discussed about various sections of Chartered Accountant Act, section 5, section 20, removal of the name, then cancellation of COP, regulation 10. Again, we discussed about KYC norms that are there, that are required to be followed. We discussed about section 6, importance of COP. We discussed about section 25, company not to engage in accountancy practice. Okay. We discussed about, designation part, what is designation, what is suffix, prefix, and everything. Then we discussed about the branch related things, section 26, 27. Then we started with the schedule, first schedule, part 1, 12 clauses. Then we discussed about each and every clause in detail. Then we discussed part 2, part 3, and part 4 of the first schedule. Same way we discussed second schedule again in detail, part 1 with the 10 clauses, part 2 and part 3, part 4 of the first schedule, and part 3 of the second schedule. They are linked to the other misconduct, not professional misconduct. Okay. We also took some examples and questions. We did a lot of questions today. We went through the Council General guidelines, advertisement guidelines, And we referred all the relevant guidelines which are applicable, like tax audit limits, company audit limits, indebtedness one right now, okay, online aggregators. So all these things we have discussed till now in the professional ethics. Now, what you guys are required to do. Number one, whatever we have discussed in chapter 19, okay, whatever we have discussed, I would suggest have a reading from the module. That is necessary. If you have not had the reading till now, please go through that particular part in the module that is necessary. So in module, each and everything has been given in detail. So whatever we have discussed now, rather the whole chapter, I will suggest if you have not read, go through the module and correlate with the notes that you have prepared. Okay. You will find all the things, all the topics on the start of the chapter 19. And if you want to refer to the Council General Guidelines, those guidelines are given from page 8.
Sir, it's from page number 19.111.
Yeah, 19.111. From here, the Council General Guidelines starts. So you need just have a read through all these Council General Guidelines, that whatever we have discussed, okay, including the advertisement guidelines and the website ones, okay. Everything is here in detail that we have seen till now. Go through these in detail, okay, read it. And there are some questions also given on below at the end of the chapter. I am not sure how many of you are solving these questions, but these are important and that will also help you in your practice. So I would suggest please go through these questions. You have almost 17 questions at the end of the chapter. Go through these 17 questions, try to solve them by yourself first, and then you compare with the answer. Okay. By this way, you will get a practice material also. So read the module, correlate with your notes, go through all the Council General Guidelines, solve the theoretical questions, write the answer. I would say write the answer. Not only just read it. Okay, this is the question. I read it. This I think this is the answer. Then I'll check the answer. No, don't do that. Write the answer in detail and then compare what you have written versus the answer which is written below. Reason why? Because you need a writing practice. Whatever you think in your mind is not sufficient. You need to write it down on a paper. And that is something, the practice you need to develop throughout your journey. The more you will write, the more it will be easy for you to write an answer. Because sometimes, we think, okay, we know the answer. Let's say in this first question, we think, yes, P is guilty of professional misconduct because of this clause. You can't write that answer in just one sentence. Yes, Mr. P is guilty of professional misconduct because of this clause. I cannot. This is not the way you should write the answer. We know the answer, but this requires practice. That what to include in the answer, what not to include, how detailed should be the answer. I cannot just finish the answer in just one sentence. Guilty or not guilty. So you need to practice all these things by writing, and the more you will write, the more you will understand how to write an answer, and that is very important. The terminologies that we need to use, the words we need to use, whole reference of the clause, the wordings of the clause, those are required and required to be remembered and required to be mentioned in your answer. So it's not like that I just need to mention clause number. No, I need to mention the text of that particular clause also in the answer. So as I said, first mention the provision, then specify the scenario, then correlate with the scenario, and then conclude. This is how you need to write the answer, and you need to practice this. Okay. From next lecture, we will be starting a new topic, which is given in the schedule. You can refer to the schedule on the BOS website. Okay. And the topic is quality control, chapter number 1. We will be starting on 14th October. Guys, please go through whatever we have discussed till now. If you have any doubt, you can bring in this next section. We will be discussing that. Okay. We will be discussing that in the next section. You can bring that doubt.
Sir,
there is
send
one-
one question.
Yeah, yes, I was about to take, don't worry. So, okay, so there is one question that I need to take, which is CA Gyan is a chartered accountant in practice and also an engineer by qualification. He wants to pursue a registered valuer course and work as a registered valuer for plant and machinery under the Companies Act. Comment above with reference to the provision of CA Act 1949. Okay, so this is the question that you were referring to, Raj. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yesterday I was that previous lecture.
Okay, no issues. Now see, this question refers to the basically valuation part, like whether he is allowed to take this valuation services or not. Correct?
Yes.
And can you just remind me from where this question was listed?
Mock test paper, May 24.
May 24 mock test paper. Okay. And I think answer is also given in that mock test paper.
Yeah.
That engineer part is not there. Sorry, valuation of plant and machinery is not listed, correct?
Yeah, the answer is of deemed to be in practice, and it is not referring any clause.
Okay. Okay, I'll explain you. Don't worry on that. See, how the scenario works is when it comes to, these kind of services, whether he is into deemed to be in practice or not, I need to refer the management consultancy service, whether the current services which are there are part of management consultancy service or not. Okay. So I'll just bring your attention to that. Let me show you from the module itself. Let me open that. Yeah. Page number 19.28 of your module. Now, when it say that, these are the management consultancy services. Okay, this is a list of management consultancy services which can be provided by the person and still he will be counted as deemed to be practice. In your question, the services that he is providing is registered valuer course and the valuer for plant and machinery under Companies Act. Okay, now it is under Companies Act, and if you act as a registrar, valuer under Companies Act, it is counted as a management consultancy service because it is there under the part. You can refer to 15, point number 15, acting as a registered valuer under Companies Act. So that's why he is providing management consultancy service, which is again will link to deemed to be in practice.
My concern is that do we need to refer all those things because they can only easily tweak any of the point of management consultancy services.
Now, I'll just tell you, see, in this whole list of services, tell me one service which is either not related to finance or which is outside finance, outside Companies Act, or something which is not related to a chartered accountant. If in a question, I just give you basic understanding. If in a question it is written that you are registered valuer, now you don't remember what was the registered valuer, but you can just correlate. Okay, registered valuer under Companies Act. There was something registered valuer in the management consultancy services. Now Companies Act again appears to be a area of a chartered accountant. So from that basis also you can just correlate, okay, whether it will be allowed or not allowed under management consultancy service.
Even if a land and building would be written, I might think it might be related.
See, land and building, why not? Why I'll tell you not. Because when it comes to the valuation of a land and building, it is the role of actuary. Now, there are some requirements, there are some additional things that you need to understand when it comes to the valuation of land and building. It is not that much easy. And if you see this particular one, management consultancy services, okay, over there you will never find anything which is related to land and building and which requires a different actuarial science or something like that.
Okay. If a financial asset is written, we can't decipher. If a financial valuation of financial assets and liabilities. Now that is a very strange thing because that's not written and that will not be covered here.
So do you have that question that you are referring to financial assets and liabilities?
No, I am just saying that even if they write a word, register value or a financial asset.
So again, that's why I'm saying in that case, if you are not sure, okay, let's say if it is not written about the company's tax, it is not written about, any other part where you can, correlate. Yes, the answer will not be there because it is not under company's tax. It is something different, which is not there.
So basically, we just need to apply common sense at the point of time.
If you are not able to remember, but the first part is you need to remember all these things, and the way you need to remember is by practicing. Let's say, for example, this question is there. Now, anytime if a question comes on the register valuer or under company check, you will be able to answer. I'm sure for that because you practiced that question. So by practicing, you can learn. No need to mug up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mancha, I think there is one doubt from your side with respect to the part-time COP. The concept is not part-time COP, it's a COP for the limited purpose. Means you are already, either employed or you are, you are having involved in some other business. Now you want to take COP for the limited purpose means for the training of article assistant. That is the you call it a part-time COP, but it's not a part-time COP. It's a COP for limited purpose. I hope I'm clear. Any doubt till now? Mancha, any doubt? No? Okay, guys, if no further doubt, then I would suggest to keep the session till here. In the next session, I will be discussing the new topic and you can ask any doubt, whatever we have discussed till now.
Also, one more thing, and just last.
Yes.
The question, the schedule was not written, so they have not mentioned any clauses. That's why. The reason is that just in the question, they are not mentioning schedules.
In which question that the question?
Yes, this question only. This question only, they are not referring any schedule or clause. Because they have not asked for it, that might be the reason, but I think I should have quoted the same also. In the question schedule, word is not written. That's what I'm saying. And the answer is also, they're not referring any clauses.
Yes, and if you read the question itself also, there is nothing with respect to the misconduct. Now, there's a question is a only fact-based question which says that chartered accountant is in a practice. He is a registered valuer. He is providing this kind of service. There is nothing more mentioned which can point you towards the misconduct. That's why the clauses are not being referred.
Okay. Okay, it's more a suggestive answer, मतलब suggestive question. That's all.
Yeah. Yes, Pooja.
सर मुझे पूछना था कि जैसे हमको अलाउड है कि इंश्योरेंस ब्रोकरेज सर्विसेज हम दे सकते हैं बट वी आर नॉट अलाउड टू बी अ इंश्योरेंस एजेंट बट व्हाई कैन यू टेल मी द लॉजिक बिहाइंड दैट
Sorry, I didn't receive your question. So, insurance brokerage, can you just repeat again?
इंश्योरेंस ब्रोकरेज सर्विसेज देना अलाउड है बट वी कैन नॉट बी एन एजेंट
Yes, reason because agent requires a different kind of, what you say. Agent is a different kind of business model altogether. Instead of insurance broker under the, the one which is allowed in IRDA is different than the insurance agent. In agent, you actually kind of, do more of, I would say, different kind of work. And when I say different kind of work, it is not related to, financial related, it's more related to acquiring clients and customers. Okay. That's why insurance agent is out of the business, out, and insurance brokerage is there.
Okay, means insurance agent work for insurance company and rather broker work for client. That's the basic reason behind this.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other doubt? Nope. Okay, guys. If no further doubts, then thank you. Thank you for joining the session. I will see you in the next section. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.